Hey witches, it's Jamie from the New Witch Academy of Modern Magic. Yes, we changed our name officially. Today I'm talking about breaking in your new tarot deck. This is ideas around bonding with them, storing them, and learning the cards. So you may or may not have heard before that people bond with their tarot cards. And I didn't really think of it as this when I first started out, like over 20 years ago, but when you have tarot cards and you're trying to learn them, like anything, like a good book you might carry it around, it's become known as bonding with your tarot cards or creating a connection with them. It doesn't really need a label, it's just an idea of when you first get cards, how do you sort of energetically sync with them? As witches, we're always looking at understanding our bond between the tools that we have and ourselves and whether or not it's a good fit. We can describe bonding as feeling more comfortable with them or even confident with them. So bonding with tarot cards is like when you rent a car, like you paid for that car, you use it, you get comfortable in it, but it doesn't feel like yours. Or more in a hotel room, you know, or like a Airbnb. If you stay there, like yes, you've bought the space and time to be in that area, but it never truly starts to feel like yours. And sometimes when we purchase something like tarot cards that we intend to make our tool for communication with the other side or with our higher self or just a deeper connection, it takes us a long time to sort of to feel like they're ours. It takes a while for them to not feel new anymore, for them to feel like something familiar. So when we talk about bonding with tarot cards, we're thinking about how to make that deck feel like yours when you see it and you know, that is my deck. Number one, you can shuffle them. Just sit there and shuffle them. I mean, cards, when you first get them, are usually a little stiff anyways, so you want to shuffle them to break them in and get that flexibility in the cards. Stiff cards can be tough to shuffle. Next would be bonding with cards. You can carry them around, you know, keep them in your purse if it's a small enough deck. Keep them in your car, you know, if they need to be hidden or out of sight. We're going to talk about storage next, but just keeping them with you as a reminder so that you're glancing at them more often, you know, and if you see them, you might even have the inkling to take them out and shuffle them a couple times if where you're at feels safe to do that. Safe, I mean, you're not fearing judgment. Do it in a place where you feel most comfortable. The last method to bonding with cards is actually something that Kat had told me that she did when she got her new tarot cards, and I just loved it so much. So I'm calling it the Kat method, K-A-T method. And that is to put your tarot cards underneath your pillow at night so that you can either meditate on them as you go to sleep or just feeling like they're close to you. So that's bonding with your cards. The next question is, how do people store cards? And that there are so many options for storing your cards. I did have some examples I wanted to show you guys. Ultimately, it comes down to preservation of the cards. So making sure they're somewhere clean, dry, you know, humidity, because they are paper. You just want them out of direct element. Any kind of protective outer casing, and some decks come with good boxes that the decks are stored in, but if you wanted to make your own, I have a few ideas for buying them, acquiring them, and then making your own. So first example, I made a case out of my old iPhone box. So I have my Rider-Waite Tarot in here, and all I did was Mod Podge color onto it. Then the yarn is Mod Podged into the shapes. This is a charm from a necklace, and then I just Mod Podged on also some rose quartz and amethyst. So I've had this box for about 8 years. Next, if you have a larger deck or a larger book, you may want to think about something that is bigger, and I have this little sack, and you won't believe it, but it's a Crown Royal peach bag that I got at a Goodwill. I loved the color of it, the energy of the sacral chakra, so I keep bigger decks so that the book can fit in there together, just as a way to keep it, you know, and it's kind of hidden. Nobody knows what's inside there. So it's keeping them hidden from other people, pretty safe, dust-free, you know. Next would be any kind of small wooden boxes that you can keep them in. If you need one that has a lock, obviously there's options, but you could keep a Rider-Waite Tarot or similar deck in here that has the smaller books, because the book could also be stored in the box. Next, another Kat shout out. She actually made me this little holder for cards and sewed a zipper on and everything. So I actually have the other Wild Unknown deck in here. So this is a bit bigger, which is why I wanted it. I wanted to be able to hold the book and the card deck in here, and so it does. So those are my examples of where to store them. So comment below and tell me where you keep your cards currently, or where you've been keeping them, and is that spot been helpful or not? Sometimes we buy cards and we put them on a shelf, or we put them away and we forget about them. So with this bonding and storing type thing, it's to keep the cards around you so that you remember to practice with them. Sometimes we need that reminder. Lastly, I've been trying to help people learn tarot for a long time. I'm by no means a master at tarot. I'm learning things all the time. I continually learn cards, and there are cards that have never come up in a reading for me, so I know them a little less. But with having tarot cards around me for the last 25 years, I've obviously learned to help people understand tarot, break it down a little bit. With learning tarot, what I like to help new witches do is understand that there's actually a story that goes on in the cards. So my suggestion is to take whatever deck you have, new, old, one you want to learn, lay it out in its suit. So you'll have all the swords, wands, pentacles, cups laid out of the minor arcana, and then you could have the major arcana laid out in those 22 cards, and just look at the story that happens as you go from sequentially from one card to the next. So it would be, you know, the Ace of Pentacles, the Two of Pentacles, the Three of Pentacles, all the way up, and then do the same thing and kind of see the story within the suit. So after laying out cards, the next thing I usually suggest is a card a day pull. A card a day pull has you practicing and looking at a card every single day, and normally that also, when a card a day pull is like you also journal about it. But what I tell people, it's one thing to sort of write the card and the description and what it means and maybe symbols or something, but better for learning. And if you're trying to actually learn tarot and remember the meanings so that you don't have to look at the book, as you journal about the card, relate it to something that has happened in your life. Like relate it to some kind of memory or a feeling. That's even better, because as you get better with the tarot, you can intuitively read them, because that card, you will have remembered a feeling with that card. So that's card a day journaling. Lastly, I would take notes on, so whatever way you lay out the cards, but take notes on the things that you see in the cards that symbolize triumph, or symbolizes loss or success, prosperity, hard work. The pictures on tarot cards are depicting a situation. So that's usually why a card isn't just one word. It's not one meaning. You know, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. Well, a picture's worth 1,000 interpretations as well. Each person could see something different, what stands out to you about that card. So with whatever deck you're practicing with, look for repeating symbols. Look at the small design details in the cards and see how that relates to the meaning of the card. One of my favorite examples is if you look at all of the face cards for the suit of the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot, you'll notice that the kings, queens have clothing with prints on them if you're looking at the picture, and that represents some of the things that we might associate what grapes go with, you know, what a dolphin goes with. So there's all of these smaller symbols within the cards that you can look for to help you learn their meaning as well. So that concludes breaking in a new tarot deck. If you want to know more about how to buy your first tarot deck, I did make a video, I'll put it here. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again. If this video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up, a like. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time.